So obviously Bilal came in, ringer right at the end of the season. But we had a couple of really good additions this year. Moon.
Yeah.
And Sean, and they were both brilliant for the team. Moon,
Overseas player.
overseas superstar, someone who can actually turn the ball as well. Moon was fantastic. With both ball and bat, shame you can't field, but you can't have it all. Someone's got to remind me not to stick it in sleep next year. But then the same goes for Sean. Sean was brilliant to join the team because I'm seeing a lot of people here who bottle opening the batting. Sean really goes out and takes one for the team. And actually, he did a couple of really big contributions. He had that massive opening partnership. Pinner at home, I think Pinner threes at home, was really, his son might get all the credit for spanking all the kids about at the end. But Sean, and I think it was Jonesy that day, but I think it was 50 or 60 for the opening wicket, and really relaxed the whole team and put us from the front foot. What could have been a tricky run chase. So Sean's played a really big part this season in that. Northwood away as well. Northwood away when Asim's probably pulled out again. Somehow there was 12 players there. I don't quite understand how that happened. But we only had 4 at the start of the game, and Sean had to go out and open the batting and not get out for about the first 7 or 8 overs, which if you've seen Sean batting the rest of the year was one.
It's all about you pulling out.
Because he was any straight ball, he just decided, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll just leave it. Yeah, just leave it all. But 2 great additions to the team. But signing of the season, Moon, well done, mate.
So that's the second one then.
Good.
Fielder of the season. There's 4 nominations.
He's
to
made a
this.
name.
Jonesy,
Has to be. Yeah.
Paz,
Yeah.
Yusuf,
Keeper of the season.
and Adil. But
I know.
if it was for Adil, we must have already batted because we all know Adil likes to let him have an extra 20 runs or so to boost his batting average.
They get a catch.
Yusuf as well. I mean, what a legend! He does square leg to square leg and puts his body around. He's all over the shop. And actually, we've had 3 or 4 or 5 of you, only because we've only got 2 or 3 in this team who can actually field well, who have to do square leg to square leg and run all over the place. Jonesy in that aspect was absolutely phenomenal. He was everywhere, and you know, with Jonesy, he's putting his body on the line for everything, even if he did go over the boundary and Pinner away. But we don't mention that.
Wasn't on the video.
Paz as well. I mean, how lucky are we? He's the best keeper in the division by a country mile. Absolute country mile.
That's keepers award goal.
But if you could have, you might have got this award if your chap behind the stumps was a little bit better.
Sledging's got to go up.
The sledging was poor. But winner was Jonesy, and I think rightly so for running all over the place. And robbing Pinner of 2 runs as well. I'm good with that. And getting away with it.
Well done, Jonesy.
Well done, Jonesy.
May you rest in peace.
Paz, you want to do 4 moments? Do you want to chip in with a couple? Yeah, we should get Jonesy on FaceTime.
Let's do it. It's mum and dad.
Well, for the moments there's quite a few. Especially the one at Northwood at home. Actually, that was about at least a hell of a lot of catches, to be fair. But there's also quite a few moments that were for individuals, should I say, and as them getting the play for about at least 4 or 5 games.
Including today, mate.
Today.
Sorry, Q, I'm really woken up.
I've been in the bed for the last 1.5 days, mate.
Q, I seem to have a temperature.
He used to message me.
And he still cut
He used to
down.
message me to tell you. I said, no, man.
like he's pulling out on the.
Is there an award for it? Or not?
It's not like he's pulling out on a Wednesday or a Thursday. It's a
Saturday at 1
a
o'clock.
I can
Saturday
only tell you when it
morning.
happens.
It's a Saturday morning, and we're there like, who on earth?
Listen, if I text
He's
him
gonna
4
be
in the
the
morning,
tenth
he could be busy in the bed. I don't know.
That is true. That is true. But there was also, yeah, there's like, as I said, and the game at Hampton Northwood, there was numerous amount of dropped catches, and myself and the whole team. I mean, one outstanding out was away game at Northwood where it absolutely hailed it down with rain, and there's a certain someone who I think it was the captain who was bowling, and it was their captain who spinned it up to mid on. I decided not to go for the catch, and then thought I'll go for the run out instead. But he somehow misses the stumps from about 2 or 3 yards. And unfortunately, that was the winner of the poor moments of season.
The ball didn't turn.
I think Ross is the biggest stat padder here, even more than Adil, because he drops everything that comes his way, and it's only because he knows he can bowl them out in the next game. He's a genius.
You can't drop them if you don't get to them.
Do you remember he dropped one of the guys?
We need Adil to start shouting easy one. Put the pressure on.
It's on video.
I will also do the best moment of the seasons as well. There was probably a fair few moments that were really good. Obviously, performance-wise, at Chorleywood, there was the unreal 6-4 at Deal to win the game, at pin a freeze away. That was unbelievable shot. Obviously, at beating Ricky, our big rivals down the road, home and away. That's always good. And, I mean, to it, everyone's contributed with the bat, ball. I mean, me, maybe not, but
Except for the first 4 games.
but again, it was a close one for the best moment because it could have been either of them, but personally, it was the 6-4 deal because at 6, and then like everyone just like on the sidelines was just like, I said, there's an unreal shot, and like in the moment, it was right and lost over. I mean, if that wasn't a 6 and it was maybe a 2, and won that game, who knows really? But no. But like the overall team, that was the best moment of the season. So,
Now, Arno, we have you on video. You got to explain yourself because I can hear it. You on video at this moment. You said that he didn't have it in his locker.
I know how to fix works, mate. I know how to fix works.
That's a terrible shout. Terrible shout. Some say that ball's still flying right now. We might see it go over. Is it UFO? I don't know. It was empty.
Come back to the captain.
and up the captain.
Okay. Individual performance. Seb. Is that typo?
Yeah, that was my
Right, the ones that got a nomination for this or a vote for this was Seb against Ricky away. Must have hit some kids. Must have hit some kids playing. Adil obviously Pinner away. Moon Abbott's away. Oh yeah, 80 off about 50 balls. Yeah. Ross Chorleywood away when he was bowling against that guy who couldn't bat, kept jumping up on the spot, and Yusuf Northwood at home.
Yeah.
I remember all of these because there was some big contributions. Seb's knock on perhaps one of the worst wickets we've we've played on, and he was what, about 10 off about 70 balls, blocking everything. And then they put, I think it was actually Arnav came in, and then you guys built up a good partnership, and they brought on a pie chucker. They brought on a pie chucker, and Seb sent this guy everywhere. And to be honest, those were some big runs because it really put us in a strong position. 160 was plenty on that wicket, and we were looking like only getting 110 or 120, and that probably wouldn't have been enough reflection. So that was massive score to get us a big contribution. Adil, I mean, we've mentioned it with, actually, we talk about his innings with the bat and bringing it home, but fuck me, was it 8 overs, 1 for 9 or something like that? The balls that goes unnoticed, you know. That goes unnoticed. Moon, I mean, it was all fireworks at Abbott's Away, wasn't it? We were at T20's finals day, which we've spent, like, collectively for the whole trip, hundreds of pounds for, and yet no one was watching that game. We were getting the live streams, the live updates. Moon's hit at 6, Moon's hit at 4, and I watched it back because that was one of the only games I've actually watched back on the highlights. And oh my God, you played absolutely out your skin to almost sort of single-handedly bring it home, because I think we were struggling and then Moon really brought it back. So fair play to you for that. Ross Chorleywood away, I mean, that was a massive performance from you, but a great team effort. I think we had 9 men. That probably was the worst wicket that we played on. There have been some strong contenders, but that was absolutely terrible. Paz as well deserves a mention for that, because I think without him behind the stumps, there would have been buys galore because they were keeping low and shooting up high. Ross that day had him on an absolute shoestring. One batsman in particular, who I think you bowled, I think you got 3 or 4 quick wickets, and then you bowled at the same guy, 5 straight maidens, I think. Which if you know Ross over the years, he is classic jug avoidance. Doesn't like the fiver, because then he's got to get everyone a drink. Funny that. Yusuf has had many strong performances, I think, with the bat. He's opened and he's come in the middle, and I think he's really found his own spot in the middle order, coming in at 5 or 6 and tonking it absolutely everywhere. And he's put some great, rightly nominated as a fielder of the season, and some key wickets at times as well, particularly on Saturday, but definitely opening the bat bowling on Sundays as well, been superb. There's only one vote in the end for this award, which was between Ross and Adil, but I think for the fireworks at the end of the game, Adil has nipped it up.
Here we go again.
Well done,
I'll do best bowler. Best bowler. I mean, I think we're extremely lucky to have not just 4 or 5. I think we've really got 8 or 9 very strong bowling group. We've actually kind of got too many that some don't actually get a bowl. Arnav's got a great arm ball. No, but we're extremely fortunate to have lots of great bowlers, and that's really probably what's pushed us over the line, because we've won a lot of games where we've actually got low score batting, but we feel extremely confident that we've got at least 4 or 5 bowlers to get us through. And I think everyone from all the bowling group has had at least a couple of games where they've got a flurry of wickets, and even if they haven't, they've actually kept things incredibly tight. And I think Wasim especially has had a couple of games where he's bowled 8 overs for 10 runs or something incredible like that. I've got to say, is bowling with you 3 in particular, certainly up front, it's unbelievable, because you know there's always constant pressure on that, even if you're having. But there's a couple of games from a personal point of view I was actually not quite at my best, and you guys really stepped up and filled the void where I was a bit more expensive, and you guys were absolutely superb, and I think that's a credit to how consistent your performances have been throughout. There was a few nominees here, so Asim obviously, but when he did turn up, when he didn't turn up, he
was even better.
he always had a good knack of making something happen and always getting the key wicket at the right time. You could always count on him for that. Wasim was always building pressure, always absolutely right on the money. Ross as well with the new ball, absolutely superb. He'd get 2 or 3 wickets and then they'd start letting it hit their pads and everything's not out. Moon as well, superb. I think 5 for on debut, I think if I remember correctly. Again with 9 men as well, so that's another top performance at Pinner away. Zayn Butt, yeah.
Zayn Butt, there's only one.
Yeah, superb on a Sunday, Zayn Butt. He keeps fine leg to fine leg. He's got everything, Zayn Butt. But dominating the votes in the end, and I think probably quite rightly because he was, I think, the best bowler in the division by an absolute country mile, and we're extremely fortunate to have him and a whole host of others playing probably beneath their level. But Ross, superb this season.
As for batting this season, obviously all of us have contributed, whether it's been the opening, in middle order, or being lower down for sure. And there's certain people who want to hide at a certain spot, whether it's at 4 or 5, but so,
5.
yeah,
4. It used to be 4.
it was 4, but now it's 5. And personally,
One game it was 6.
he was
Going downhill. Going downhill.
I mean, to fair, that I mean, ever since Seb's joined us, and played for us, he's contributed massively in scoring 50 centuries and ultimately just winning in us games. I mean, for batting for us, and obviously opens out cheaply. He comes in the ship, and then accelerates the scoreboard. Yeah. Another one is Adil, who sometimes also hides at 4 or 5 as well. I'm not sure who was back there. But I mean,
If they're kids, he's opening back.
but again, he's amount of games. His batting has won us a season, whether it be 30, 40, 50, or even like a 60, 70. I mean, and at times he's dug in and actually thought I've got to be in to try and take a team over the line, because he probably hasn't got faith in me or you or Ross anyways. At the end, another batsman is Moon. I mean, he's come in absolute exceptional. I mean, for me, and the short of the season is the 4 here against Ricky on Rohan over point. That was an absolute tremendous shot, and yeah, I mean, I got in there. 8 balls to the wickets. Obviously, there was one but no, he's ability of the bat, he's just hitting it all around the park, sort of offside, leg side, everything is absolutely superb. And again, he's contributed with the bat as well. Also Yusuf as well. Yeah. In middle order. At times he's thought I need to open, and he's done a job. I mean, he might not have scored as many runs as opener, but he's doing a job for the team because everyone else doesn't fancy it. But I mean, at 5, 6, 7, that's where you are for sure. But yeah, again, it's a stand-up winner again. A deal.
Oh, yeah. Clean sweep. Clean sweep.
That's a third of all.
It's on you, man.
Best batsman.
You can see it on the video, man.
Don't delete that video, please. Oh, the video
I don't think
video
Pat's put this out for the votes, but quickly, I think most improved this season. I think a lot of people have really stepped up massively year by year. I mean, people forget that we only started a few years ago, and actually there was several of the team who hadn't ever played cricket before. And then look at them now. Yusuf in his first season averaged 2, and now he averages 5. But yeah, it's over double in a few years' time. It'll be 10. But yeah, it's incredible the sort of improvements some of you have made, and actually fair play. One guy in particular, he tries to have a bowl. I'll give him that, but actually he's thrown himself at the deep end, keeping wicket on several occasions. He's actually puts in a bigger shift than he gets credit for in the field, because I often stick him fine leg to fine leg.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, he's got pretty safe hands now, and batting wise, he's actually come up some incredible knocks at the start of the season as well. He was probably the most informed batsman. We played Edgware, I think, first game of the season, and I think the rest of the team were reliant on extras, and this guy in particular really carried us with the big score of a 20 or 30, and he's absolutely, I can't think of anyone more suited, coming in at 6 or 7 with a few overs and doing a great job for the team and swinging from ball 1 with some really big runs, some great keeping behind the stumps as well, some questionable bowling, but Zain Butt most improved.
Zain Butt!
He is valuable. Special video for Zain Butt. Nothing for us.
Should we do team?
Special.
Team and season?
Yeah.
What was the most improved was that?
Newcomer, I guess.
No, he's
Team of the season.
Where's this camera going to?
Can we get any auntie?
Is it okay?
No, it's not starting.
Massive check.
It's not starting.
Leave them. Massive. No, just put it on.
Against the team of the season, I mean it's been absolutely a pleasure to play with all you lot for a fair few seasons on a Saturday in the league, and then as and when on a Sunday, obviously is.
The deal with only we back first.
You know, it's one of the highlights of the week really. Between April and sort of October sort of time, it's getting the teams out on a Saturday, well, either on a Friday night or sort of on like a Wednesday, depending on availability. But no, it's sort of been like a good core of players that have been around for most weeks as well. And it's nice to have a settled side, obviously, sort of with maybe one or two people dropping out last minute.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
He needs to take a break. He's probably got temperature.
No, it's been a pleasure. I mean, I wouldn't want to play for any other club than us. And
Played Guild last week.
yeah, but that was on Sunday. But team of the season, I'm sure it probably picks itself. I mean, there's probably 13 main people who should be in there personally for like different opinions and different because they batted well, but so a team of this season is Adil,
In at number 1. This we must be playing Chilton at the team.
Listen, he's paying for the fucking dinner, man.
And myself, I'm in there. You got Ross.
William Ross. William Patrick.
Jonesy in there.
Count the votes.
You got Yusuf in there as well. Azim's finally got an award.
When he turns up, he's good. He's alright. Yeah.
I mean, he's probably played only a handful of games, but but he's helped us quite a bit in Seb as well. Bartfinger Sean's in there as well. And that leaves, was it 11 and 10? There's probably 4 people who could get in there, but unfortunately there's only 2 who get in there. So it's the part-time spinner, Arnav's in there. And actually, I mean, credit where it's due, he might not have had the best of seasons with the ball. But that's the ball. But don't get me wrong, he has bowled well.
What is it?
Obviously,
Good, thank you. How are you?
unfortunately, he's not part of the team season because he said to me a minute ago, I'm not. Take me out. I'm going to see your team this season. So yeah. Easily you could be in there. Zane could be in there as well. He's played well. You've got, but it's not just like a team this season. It's the whole squad has to pull together. Every Saturday, as and when half of us are away at finals day, and some people are on holiday, others are ill. So everyone has contributed across the whole season. So in theory, everyone's part of it really. Congratulations to everyone.
Well done, boys.
We've got 3 more awards. I'll run through them pretty quickly. Paz didn't put this in vote either, but I think it's worth celebrating the effort that a couple of people really put in this year. So Clubman of the season, really we wouldn't have ran half the amount of games without these guys. They put in a serious amount of effort behind the scenes. Cheers, Jamie, mate. Have a good one. Behind the scenes to help us get the team out, help you guys get out on the pitch. They're both regulars on Saturday, Sunday and midweek. One of them even books off all their annual leave to be there. And Paz is the highlight of his week, apparently. I think a big round of applause should go to you.
Don't do that next year. Go on a fucking holiday.
But they've both done something really special, I think, with the midweek and keeping the Sunday side. Actually really strong as well. And Yusuf is unbelievable at getting in players to the team. And from anywhere. I mean, I don't know who they are. I don't even think you know who they are. Last week, it's absolutely unbelievable what you've done to sort of really boost the team, Yusuf. I think that's we then got the last 2, which is 2 of the main 2. So we'll we've got players player and the captain's Saturday's captain's player of the year. We'll start with players player of the year if I can remember where it is. Right, there were 4 nominations. Zane Butt again. He's big up Zane. Well done. Well done. Big performances. Yusuf, bat ball fielder. Well done. Ross, star man. And obviously, Adil. It was especially close between Ross and Adil. Well, actually, I say that wasn't. But I imagine the thought process was, but this guy put in several unbelievable performances to get us over the line with bat, ball, and according to someone in that earlier vote, fielding as well. So Adil, player of the season.
Is it recording actually?
No, it's not.
And then my player of the season, captain's player of the season. This was really neck and neck between Ross and Adil, but there's lots of people with worthy performances. I think Yusuf's had a brilliant season. Asim has been unbelievable with bat and ball when he's played. You can make this joke all night.
Get used to it. Every year, same.
With bat and ball has been phenomenal. I mean, really, there's been a lot of votes for Ross, and rightly so. But Wasim has been absolutely incredible, and really, you put on so much pressure for the other bowlers. Adil especially ends up getting all the wickets, caught on the boundary, and people like Arno ended up getting 3 or 4 because they've got to start teeing off against this. But we'll see. You've been unreal, pressure right from the start. Asim as well, unbelievable. Seb it took you 4 games to find your feet. You had a real great month in the season with some big confidence against both Sinner and Ricky, which really won the league there in that middle season. Sean's been unreal, opened the batting. Moon, superb bat ball. Less said about your running and your fielding. But for me, it was really tight between 2. So much so that it was like I didn't even order this award specifically because I didn't even know right until earlier today, and it was neck and neck between Ross and Adil. Ross is often bowling with you. It's a privilege because you are just on it right from the start. You're causing so many problems, and you complement any bowler that you bowl with, really. And it's not just at the start of the innings. There's been some moments where you come back on. I remember Ricky away, especially when I can't remember who just got the wicket before, but you then came back on and put us in the driving seat because you got 2 or 3 in your second spell to really push us over the line, and you've been phenomenal with so many great opening spells. Adil, I mean, bowling. We don't even talk about his bowling. We don't talk about his bowling. But almost every week, Adil goes for 2 and over or less. And it's incredible. It's incredible. The amount of pressure that Adil manages to put on with the ball and the tail enders. Yeah, the tail enders. Yeah. You do all the hard work, don't you? Unbelievable with the ball, and then batting. You could not wish for. I've had the privilege of playing with some great players in this team, but over the course of my life, I don't think I've ever played with anyone who handles pressure batting better than Adil. He is a big game player, and he's done it on several occasions. And I think in a really tight game against Pinner, incredibly tight game, the way you sort of built that innings and took it to the last over to give us a chance And even in that last over, Pinner was still the favourites. We still needed 9 on a terrible wicket. We still needed a lot of runs. And then I've seen what is probably one of the best shots I think most of us here have ever seen playing cricket. Under pressure in the last over to win us the league. That for me had to make a deal player that sits it. But really, a last big thank you. I don't know if there was a Sunday player. Let's make one up.
Sunday do another day. Sunday do another day. नहीं यार, I have to go. मेरे बच्चे को text में
Sunday player. I mean,
It's going to get
dinner is based
a variety of players who play on a Sunday. Half of them I might not know.
Yusuf's mates.
Yeah, but to fair,
You can be a Tony man.
credit where it's due.
Time fix कर लेना.
I managed to actually get on
Time then you
a fair few fixtures on a Sunday. It might not be the strongest of teams on a Sunday, but as still make it work. We still try hard in the field, and if it might be useful to get in a variety of players from a Sunday. I mean, most of the games won't be actually on personally, but it's nice to have a chance to bowl as well on a Sunday as I'm called a Sunday specialist now.
Well, I've seen it, and you ain't getting a bowl on a Saturday.
Yeah, no, but there's one player who has actually come in, has played a couple of games on a Saturday, has bowled really well on a Sunday, and has actually batted really well. I think as well he might have scored his maiden 50 as well. And towards back in the season against the Guild actually, to be fair, at the club, even though the pitch was an absolute, it weren't the best, but Sunday's player this season is Bilal.
And then lastly, a big thank you and a big well done to everyone for playing a massive part in this season. League champions, not easy. Let's fucking do it again next season.
Guys, head towards the restaurant now because it's 7 minutes to go.
Let's go.